Welcome back to another video here on Western Mountain Web, and today what we're going to do is talk about managing your email inside of CPanel. We're not going to do any of the spam filters, bunch of the other functions. I just want to show you here how you can add an email account and how you can manage that email account easily in case you're hiring a developer like me to set up an email address and he gives you an email and a password. How do you manage all these types of things? First, let's go ahead and talk about the creation of an email account. So get logged into your cPanel and you can find your email accounts. You should just be able to come up here and type in something like email and it'll show up at the top. My E key on this keyboard does not work right. There we are. So just go ahead and click in your email accounts. You'll see what the accounts we already have. Now cPanel comes with by default this catch-all default account. Usually stuff doesn't land there, but there's some odd cases where it may. I do have an email set up for the newsletters. I have a separate video on another channel on setting up PHP lists for newsletter management on this system. So that's what this email address is for. We're going to go ahead and create a new one. So find this create button over here. Now remember, your theming might be a little bit different depending on where you received your account at. So this will give you a drop down of all the different domains. Note that subdomains will be its own domain. Generally, we just want to use our main root domain. So in this case, I'm using this Life in Linux. We'll set up a new one. We'll just call it New Email. And you're going to want to use a password manager or just something more advanced. Just for simplicity in this video, I'm just going to use a text pad. Do not use a text pad for anything in production. So I just keep a hold of my emails like this. I actually run a list of these in my password manager. I use KeePass XC, which is an excellent offline password manager. Now you can give it a certain password here. If you enter something like password, it's going to be like, don't do that. It's a strength of 1. Enter a stronger password. Don't do something stupid like that. You do have the option to generate a password. Usually for emails, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll either generate the password here or I'll have my KeePass generate my password for me. Generally, this is not something I need a lot, but if you are accessing it on Webmail, you do want to do something that you can easily remember. But here I'm going to go ahead and we're going to keep that password for now. So that'll generate a good password. Now the storage space, how much space do you want? If you run out of space, and this is a big problem that people have with the way emails are managed these days, people forget to go through and delete old messages that they don't need, and then they forget to go into their trash and permanently delete them. And so inboxes can get pretty full these days. 250 is pretty small. If you have a limited size on your server, I would certainly keep something, 250, 500, and then just gives yourself a regular pattern, a regular habit of going in and clearing stuff out. If you're on a big unlimited account, you can go ahead and hit unlimited. That's okay. So you can automatically create folders or do not automatically create folders. This is actually a new feature in here where it will create folders and things for different addressing. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. You can also send a welcome email with instructions to the email client. I usually don't do this, but for the case of the video here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to send an instruction to the inbox. Go ahead and hit the create button and will land us back on the email list unless you had that checkbox hit. Now you can see here's my new email. You have the option to come in here under your cPanel and it will go into your Webmail login account. Depending on your cPanel, you'll probably have Round Cube and or Horde. If you have a really old one, you might still have one called Squirrel Mail, but that was taken out. It doesn't matter which one you use. Round Cube, I generally prefer for desktop. If you're accessing it on a mobile device, Horde is actually better for mobile email checking. So here is that email. Just go ahead and click in on this guy. You can see this is actually the setup. So if this will work on any mail client. So I use Evolution here on Linux. Thunderbird is an excellent cross-platform email client. This will work on the Outlook email client, whatever else. The username is the full email address. This is important to remember because many of your clients will put just the first part as your username, so you'll have to fill in the whole address, use whatever password we had, and then in this case, it gives me mail.lifeinlinux.com, and it gives us our ports. Now, this is the secure SSL settings. These are generally what you want to use if you can. If for some reason those aren't working, you can drop down and use the insecure versions here, but use the SSL ones if you can. That'll pretty much get you all set up. Now, you may not have access to the cPanel, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to boot up a separate web browser because the separate web browser is not logged in. And we're going to show you now how you can manage your email if somebody has given you the email list. So over here, we're just going to go to your domain name, which is lifeinlinux.com, and then /webmail. This will bring us to a webmail login. Of course, our site is in maintenance mode. I forgot about that. So, oh, never mind. Webmail. It's my E key doesn't work on this computer. Haha, there you go. I need a new keyboard. Anyone buy me a new keyboard? All right. So now we have a webmail login. Apologies for that. And we're just going to grab our email address. Remember that our email address is the whole thing. Hit that E key, right? So we're going to do in lifeinlinux.com. That's the whole email. We're going to copy that. Again, don't do this in WordPad. I'm just doing it here for the purpose of explanation. Go ahead and paste that in, and then we'll copy your password, enter that. It's going to log you in. Now you will have the ability when you log in here, you can access your Roundcube or your Horde. You can actually click this button to automatically go to this spot here. But we also have on this screen, I don't like hitting that check button because it gives me a quick dashboard. Now everything in this dashboard is accessible in this menu up here. So you can pull this menu up. You can go to Horde, Roundcube. Here's setting up spam filters, autoresponders. If you're going to be out of the office, you can set up autoresponders, calendars and contacts, password and security. This is the important one. If your web developer has given you an email with a password, you want to go into password and security on this screen and change it. You have your configure your mail client. This is going to give you that same information that we had. And here's manage disk usage. Here's email filters, forwarders. If you want to forward any email coming to this box anywhere else, you can go ahead and do that. So this is actually a very nice, just a very nice place where you can go and access all the different things that you need to do. So that is how you're going to get in here and manage your emails. So you can set various configurations. You can also automatically configure a device. So if you're using Windows Live Mail, some of these work, some of these don't. They've actually gotten rid of a lot of old ones, but you can go ahead and just kind of click the buttons here and it will open up the applications and then autofill everything in. Now, the reason they got rid of a lot of these is most of your email clients now, when you enter the password, CPanel configures it to automatically detect the settings. So usually you don't have a lot of changes once you give it your email address. But still, this is how you can access everything. So hopefully that has helped you out. If it has, feel free to let me know in the comments here. And if you are in need of a website, you can have a look over at our main site at westernmountainweb.com. You can head on over here, and I do any form of website management, website design, and particularly a lot of work with servers and things like that. Reach out to me on the contact page over here if you have any questions for me. Thanks for coming along, and we will see you in the next video.